Cowboys leading the St. Louis Cardinals 6-3. Dick Stockton along with Terry Bradshaw in our first year working together. And Terry, what do you foresee in the second half for both of these clubs?
Well, two things have to happen. Number one, the Cardinals, I believe, are going to have to come out throwing the football. I think Lomax is hot. I think he needs to get J.T. Smith and Green involved with their passing attack, and I think they need to do more of it. On the other hand, Cowboys have to score. They're marching the ball well. White's throwing the football extremely well. Dorsett's running. They're all catching it. Walker's just had a great first half. Haven't put it in the end zone. Look for more of the same, but touchdown passes in the end zone second half.
Speaking of Danny White, we've talked about his injury problems. He recovered from the fractured right wrist. However, it is still kind of tender, and there are problems in getting off the throw when you have a bad wrist. Now, this is a, Terry, this is a football, okay? Can you do something with it?
Exactly. The problem White has is that the ability, the flexibility in the wrist this way is only 20% of it. When you throw a football and you release it, the thumb goes down and the wrist rolls over, which is good. So what White is able to do is take it and roll it under and snap the ball. But when he's out of the pocket, he has to throw it like this and push it, and his accuracy is off. Now, he had some problems early to get strength on it. He used his back and his shoulder, and he would set like this with this arm, shoulder pointed toward the camera there, and then you take the shoulder and he'd snap the shoulder around and snap the ball around. All kind of problems. He's adjusted fine, but when he's out of the pocket, he hasn't thrown the ball well because he just cannot snap that wrist the way he wants to.
Will you throw that ball at our cameraman?
You
See
bet.
if he likes it? Okay. All right, the team's getting set, and there is Danny White indeed. The important numbers to look at in this game so far, and there hasn't been a heck of a lot going on, scoring-wise, is the time of possession in which the Cowboys have the edge right there. And, of course, they had those two long scoring drives that ended up in field goals and not touchdowns, which has, of course, been a Dallas problem toward the end of last year and as well in preseason. Look, total offense in the first half looks something like this. And St. Louis, with their biggest play, was that 44-yard pass on their very first possession when Lomax hit Roy Green. Cardinals will be kicking off. Jim Gallery, who has accounted for their 3 points. And back for the Cowboys will be Darryl Clack and Robert Levette. So we're getting set for the start of the second half, and the ball comes off the tee. Cowboys are carrying 3 quarterbacks. After White is Steve Pallure, who really had a miserable preseason, and Paul McDonald, former Cleveland Brown. Kevin Sweeney, a rookie with a great arm, couldn't be kept because they need some experience in case White can't do it. And he has problems with that wrist. 6-3 to score. Second half now underway. It's going to be Clack at the 4. Good change of direction for Clack. And he brings it out to the 28-yard line. 2 men, Travis Curtis and Cedric Mack, combined to make the tackle. So the Cowboys go on offense. Danny White, 12-year veteran, with a good percentage. First half, we have not had a turnover in this ball game, nor have we had a touchdown. And the Cowboys will start from the 28-yard line. Both Dorsett and Walker line up. Pitch to Herschel Walker. Walker hit by Nico Noga with some help from Carl Carter on the play. The ball brought out to the 34-yard line.
You know, Walker, when he signed with University of Georgia, Dick, Dooley said, I don't really think you're a running back. And Herschel said, well, told himself, well, I don't know if I really wanted to come here. He wanted to be in the Marines. He didn't really care anything about playing college football. He said, I'd rather be in the Marines. Found that hard to believe.
Very strange.
$10 million later.
Second down and 4 at the 34-yard line. And the right tackle, Bill Pozderick, might have moved.
75.
Walker
the offense.
caught 5
Second
passes
down.
in the first half for 67 yards and averaged nearly 5.5 yards per carry, 27 yards and 5 carries.
You're looking at Paz Derek there, number 75, and Walker. Paz Derek, a guy that a lot of folks didn't really think ought to be starting. He gave up so many sacks last year to Danny White, but with Erkenbeck coming in and changing the passing scheme, new techniques, Paz Derek's really had a fine preseason, done a much better job.
Second down and 9 at the 29. Dorsett moves. Good protection for Danny White, and he hits Cosby. Cosby had all he could do to hold on to the ball from the hard, stinging hit by Lonnie Young. It brings the ball out to the 34-yard line.
One of the keys to the Cowboys, and as Hackett has said, we've got to give lanes to White to throw the football. We've got to be able to give him time to throw in the natural motion. As you can see, the fine job by the guard, Kerr there, and Paz Derek wearing out Freddie Joe Nunn, 78. So once again, White has time. He sets up, nice natural delivery, finds Cosby coming across the middle.
Illegal motion has been called against Tony Dorsett, so they're going to replay the down. It'll be second down and 9 now for Dallas. Cardinals have 3 sacks today of Danny White, but by and large, the offensive line kept him unscathed. Second and 9 on the 29. Dallas Cowboys have won 21 of their last 22 opening games, including 11 straight on the road. And now confusion, and now the officials are going to gather for the striped shirts. Burl Toller, the head linesman. He's been around a while. Frankly, I don't know what the delay is.
Well, the delay is they don't know where to mark the football. They left it exactly at the line of scrimmage, and he didn't mark off the penalty.
Marked penalty after the game, so it should be second down and 14. That's right.
You know, it's one thing, Dick, to call a penalty.
Got to mark it off.
Just got to mark it off.
I thought if he just called it, that's good enough.
Well, that is good enough, but not for the Cardinals. They want the 5 yards back.
All right, so the number, second and 14 on the 24. Barksdale, wide receiver number 80, to the right. Walker blocks to Dorsett. Dorsett doesn't get much.
Talking to Walker, he said he really doesn't mind blocking. He says, I'm not that good. This is when we're talking about pass receiving, running with the football, getting into the Hall of Fame. You know, he said you have to be good at something, either a quarterback or a running back. And he said, I do all those things well. I give it 100%. When it comes to blocking, I'm not really that good, but I do try awfully hard. So most running backs, great ones, aren't known for their blocking anyway.
Third down and 13. Out of the spread offense. White. And trying to make a tough catch is Renfro. Let's see if he caught it. If he did, he was still shy by 2 yards of a first down. Cedric Mack. And you see Renfro moved it up a couple of yards.
He marked it 2 yards past the first down marker.
Cardinals don't think he caught the ball at all. It'll be fourth down. It's a reception, apparently.
Well, let's take a look. White standing back once again. Rafferty, the center guard, doing a fine job, giving him time. The ball's thrown low intentionally to keep it from being intercepted. Comes inside. That ball is incomplete. It hopped in there. Easy for us to tell, but hard for the officials.
Saxon will kick. And now they're looking at the replay to decide whether that was an incomplete pass, and if they look at it, they're going to decide what you just saw.
I think so, and one of the reasons they're doing it, I don't believe if it were 4th and 5 or 6 that they would do that. Well, we're looking at 4th and a half a yard for a first down, and it's very critical now that they make the proper call because the Cowboys could go for the first down.
Let's see it again.
All right, there's the ball. You see it coming in. It's low. Renfro's down. And there's there.
Looked like
there.
it
You can
scraped
see it
there.
on the ground.
By the replay official, the play will stand as it was called, as a completed pass, and it is now fourth
And
down.
the reason why that is because it is not overly apparent that the ball was not caught. I mean, it has to be an obvious switch for them to do it, and I guess there's some discussion as to whether it was incomplete or complete, even though from here it looked as if the ball had hit the ground. In any event, Saxon will kick. Vi Sikahema goes back for the Cardinals. Good kick, great kick. Sikahema backpedals to the 1. In trouble. Down inside the 5, and you wonder about Sikahema's decision on that play. 62-yard kick, he should have let it go. Bill Bates on the tackle.
Okay.
Yes.
Point. If we come back to that, point being, why did he do it? He did it because he ran 2 back against Tampa Bay for touchdowns. He's a threat. He made the Pro Bowl. You know, maybe he
feels he can do it.
He may be like the power hitter with 3 and 2 count.
Okay.
He gets or 3 and 0. He gets to swing away.
If we come back early enough, can you go to Sikahema and let Terry do something quick?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Maybe even after the first play, because you know what? We'll go to Sikahema after the first play, and you do that.
Because that's a good point.
Yeah. No, that's a very good point, and you should make it. But basically, I mean, forgetting about that, you got to let that
go.
Yeah.
2 yards.
This is Dick Stockton along with Terry Bradshaw at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Opening game of the year under cloudless skies, bright sunshine. 6-3, the Cowboys lead the Cardinals. Field goals have accounted for all the scoring, but now, as a result of good coverage by the Cowboys and by Sikahema's decision to field the punt, the Cardinals are backed up inside their 5. First and 10. Worst starting position all day for the Cardinals. Stump Mitchell up the middle gets a couple. What about Sikahema now? And your thoughts about the back pedal and the catch and the tackle?
Sikahema ran back 2 punts last year in a game against Tampa Bay. He was only the 5th player in the NFL history to do that. So obviously he has a lot of confidence. He made the Pro Bowl as a special teamer. And in maybe the Cardinals' way of thinking, and his way of thinking is, it's like the power hitter having a 3 and 0, and he's up there and he's got the green light to go ahead and swing away. And Sikahema had the green light, but he should have held on for a caution.
Second down and 6. The ball at the 8. Earl Farrell will roll back. Farrell carries it past the 10. Jeff Rora in on the stop, and it'll be 3rd down in a passing situation upcoming now for St. Louis. Jeff Rora. He doesn't wear that earring anymore, does he?
Well, I asked him about the earring. He had it in his left ear, and he kind of hid it from Coach Landry. He said, didn't want him to see it. California kid, goes to the Ivy League, reads Frankenstein books.
And lasted the Mohicans as well. Yeah, that was 3rd down and call it 4. Lomax gets it to Smith. 1st down. Big play for the Cardinals. 1st down to the 24-yard line. A gain of 13, and that play prevented serious damage. Ron Francis and Michael Downs on the stop.
Anytime you send the receiver in motion and a corner or a safety runs with him, then Lomax knows it's man coverage. That time they sent Smith in motion, brought him back across, and then sent Green on the flat. He was wide open, picked up the 1st down.
Big 3rd down conversion for the Cardinals. They're at now at the 24-yard line. 9:10 remaining, third quarter. Still 6-3 Dallas.
46.
They're using all kinds of defenses, including the Bears' 46. Lomax pass. And it was intended for J.T. Smith and was behind him. Covering was Everson Walls. What about the Cowboys using a lot of different defensive alignments this year for a change?
Well, they're taking their tackles and overloading them right and weak. And in pro terminology, overs and unders. They're also using the 46, which is the Bear 46. But the difference is instead of using all linebackers lined up over the tight end, they use 2 linebackers and bring up a safety. And so, therefore, they get a good mixture. Overs, unders, gaps, 4-3s, stunt 4-3s, and the flex. They got the whole package.
Well, hopefully we'll be able to focus in on some of those different defenses we're seeing. 2nd and 10 at the 24. Blitz. Stump Mitchell tries to get away from it and does all he can to bring it out to the 27. Eugene Lockhart and Kevin Brooks. There's a surprise. New Orleans leading Cleveland 14-7. Not that the Saints would be a surprising team, but a lot of people think the Browns will go far. The Colts over Cincinnati, talking about surprises. 3rd down and 7 for the Cardinals on the 27-yard line. You look at scores around the league. Don Holmes in the game. He's out to the left. Lomax steps up and goes for Smith. Nearly intercepted on the play by Everson Walls. Walls did not have an interception in the first 10 games of last year. Wound up with 3, lowest of his career.
Well, he's playing tight on Smith. This is the pass we'd seen earlier where actually Walls was on Holmes, and Holmes ran a similar route, a 15-yard down and out. Once again, this time, though, Smith runs it. The ball is thrown low, and Smith drives back for the football. Walls drives harder and should have had an interception.
Cater's having a sensational day. And a fair catch called for by Gordon Banks at the 33. A 40-yard punt. 8:05 remaining in the third quarter. A still touchdown-less ball game. All right, boys, we should start to get some of those formation, defenses in that Terry's talking about. I mean, look for those things on each play. We should start getting some more of the replay stuff.
That was the first time they ran the 46.
Some pitch stuff. You want some pitch?
Yeah, we can. Is David there? David?
Andy? Yeah, you got it?
Let's when the Cowboys come back, Andy, let's try to get some isolations on their fronts because now they're starting to mix in a lot of overs, all that stuff I've talked about. And we get that 46 again, I'll be able to circle it up and show what is happening.
I'd start getting in with some of those pit things and ISOs now.
Yeah, just have it so that we can start looking at the various fronts.
Both teams, right?
Yeah.
Especially,
we
want to start getting into it.
They've got Albert in there now, 60. Yeah, Albert's in there. Nunn.
Duda and Greer. All right. And Baker is in for Junior at right linebacker, too. Junior got hurt before. And then we'll do that when Dallas goes on the D2. Back at St. Louis, 6-3, the Cowboys lead the Cardinals. Doug Cosby and Thornton Chandler, 2 tight ends in the lineup now for the Cowboys. 1st and 10, they start from their 33-yard line. Lineup Walker all over the place. Dorsett finds a hole and brings it out to the 37-yard line, a gain of 4. Carter and Nico Noga on the stop.
That's the strong side version. That time you look at Noga of the Washington Redskins play where you get both the offside guard and offside tackle leading into the strong side with Dorsett cutting up in behind him.
2nd and 5 at the 38. And the up back Walker still trying to churn his way, brings it out to the 42-yard line, a pickup of 3. It'll be 3rd and short. Lonnie Young makes the tackle for the Cardinals.
Notice what's happening. Notice the tackle, and this is an in. Notice how they'll penetrate here. This is calling over because the center's here, and all these guys are over this side of the center. More people over there. It's harder to run. The ideal we'd seen earlier was for the Cowboys to run back to the bubble side. That time they elected to take Walker and go to the overside.
Cowboys have converted only 1 of 7 third downs and now make it 2 as Herschel Walker dives forward for a first down at the 45-yard line. Mark Duda making the tackle up front for the Cardinals, who have returned to the 4-3 defense after their 3-4 of last season. Not too many big plays. Cardinals had their big play on the very first one of the ball game when Lomax hit Green for 44 yards. Dorsett and Walker have been on the receiving end of yards plays beyond 30 yards. First and 10 at the 45, and the blitz was on. Cosby, the intended receiver, and Leonard Smith came rushing up the middle.
Yeah, this was a different type blitz than Cowboys had seen all day. They had seen safeties and corners coming. This time, Dick, Cardinals come with Nico Noga up the middle, straight up the middle, looped both their tackles out wide, and no one was there to pick him up. And then White had to unload the football. He didn't have time to wait and try to hit a receiver.
Banks and Renfro lead the ball game, and Thornton Chandler and Rod Barksdale come in. Chandler, of course, the second tight end, but they move Cosby out almost as a wide receiver.
Well, Cosby is not unlike Walker. He's in and out. He's double tight. He's a flanker, a split in, a running back.
And Cosby is now wide to the right, lower part of your picture. 2nd and 10. White. Short of midfield is Barksdale. And Barksdale, acquired from the Raiders for Ron Fellows, stopped by Nico Noga. They think he'll be a deep threat, but as of yet unpolished as a wide receiver.
Well, he's unpolished because he doesn't know the offense. He missed most. Well, he brought him in during training camp, but there's a lot of offense to learn. And Barksdale, with all the talent in the world, is just now getting a feel for it. And as the season progresses, he'll become more and more involved in the offense, naturally, because he'll be playing it, practicing it.
3rd and 5 at midfield for the Cowboys, and the Cardinal fans looking for the Big Red to clamp down. Danny White. And the Cardinals clamp down. Colin Scott from Australia, Mr. Bradshaw.
Scott said he's going to try his famous kangaroo hop if he gets a sack today, but I said, hey, you can't do that in the NFL. It's illegal. He said, I'll tone it down and call it the crocodile yawn. Scott's coming inside. White steps up. Fine job. And now here comes Scott off the left side of your screen. Takes down White for the 4th sack today on Danny White.
It's 4th down, and Saxon will be kicking. Sikahema goes back for the Cardinals. Sikahema at the 16-yard line, looking to break one, and he'll be stopped at the 25-yard line. So Colin Scott, the first Australian in the NFL on his first NFL sack.
Check out this guy right here. This is Scott, Colin Scott, first Australian to play in the National Football League. I'm sorry, he's on the bottom. There he is, 69. Now check this out. Hop, hop, hop. Now a little bit of crocodile yawn. I don't know. I hate this thing.
Yeah, that was
Huh?
kind of a...
Hey, that's good. David.
That's all right. You got to...
I like that.
All right, let's get
Hey, come back to this guy. I got a story about
Okay.
his brother.
It may be after the first play if it's close, but you get it done. I'm just going to hold on to this. Let's get some Dallas defense boys in the right. You want to show
Scott.
all right? Yes. Okay, nice. All right. Yeah, I would do every Dallas defensive play now. You ought to do some ISO just to see if they go to the 46 one play and a flex in another and this and that. Yes, sir. No? No, I know. You know what I mean. Yeah, boy. Yeah, you bet. First and 10 Cardinals on their own 24. 4:59 remaining in the third quarter. 6-3 Dallas. Lomax might have gotten hooked up with the center, Mike Ruther. We'll see. He didn't lose much, though, Terry. That's the good news.
Well, one of the things you just don't want to happen is you don't want to fumble a snap from center. That's almost, Neil will tell you that it's cardinal sin. A cardinal sin. Get it?
Very nice. Yes,
Not
I
to
do.
fumble.
I do get
I like
it.
that.
I do get
Not
it.
to fumble a snap from center. You've taken probably 600 of them already. It's just not supposed to happen.
Mark Whalen in for Andy White at the right tackle defensively for the Cowboys. 2nd and 13. The Cardinals 21. Stump Mitchell going outside or trying to, and is brought down at the 22-yard line by Bill Bates. And right now for an NFL Today update, we're going to send you to New York and Brent Musburger. Brent? All right, Brent, thank you very much. There's the time, the clock running. It'll be 3rd and 11. Cardinals on their 23-yard line. By the way, Whalen gets credit for a sack when Lomax went down. Dutton is in for Brooks. Up front for the Cowboys. Lomax finds an open Don Holmes. And Holmes, close to a first down, seems to be short by a yard. Everson Walls made a fine stop, Terry, to prevent the first down after a pickup of 10.
Lomax coming off Dick after making that pass. One of the secrets to throwing the football, if you're going to throw the football on a quarterback and a receiver in a 3rd down and 12 situation, it's imperative that he get beyond the 12-yard marker and drive back so that when you make the completion, you have the first down. That time Holmes didn't go deep enough. Consequently, the catch, no first down.
There's Cater, and you saw Banks missed by a yard. Cardinals giving it up. High kick, not a long kick. Banks coming over and lets the ball go, and it goes out of bounds. Cardinals will take it anytime. Out of bounds at the 14-yard line. A 53-yard punt, and the Cowboys will take over when we come back.
Now that.
It'll be Dallas Cowboys ball at the 14. Banks let that ball go, and now the Cardinals have the Cowboys pinned back a bit.
Yeah, you're supposed to catch that punt. You're not supposed to let it hit and then bounce 15 more yards.
Barksdale is split to the bottom of your screen. Now Dorsett, hot. Pitch to Walker. Goes outside. And Walker gets to the 19, a gain of 5. Cedric Mack the first there, and then Lonnie Young came up.
Good job of running. Good hard running by Walker, made possible by tight end that time, Thornton Chandler, 89, as he engaged and really fought off the defensive end. Just did a super job getting outside, and Walker was able to go in around him. It's that new rule where you get those hands out.
Under 3 minutes remaining in the third quarter as you look at the scores. And in this one, we have not had either a touchdown or a turnover. 2nd down and 5. White on play action going deep for Barksdale and overthrows it. He was double covered downfield, and that wasn't even close.
If there's one negative about the offense the Cowboys run, it's that it's predetermined. In other words, when White made his play action fake that time, he comes out and his first receiver is the flanker. He throws it to him. His second receiver, then he throws it to him. They go in a progression. And sometimes without pre-reading a coverage and knowing that automatically he would be going to his third receiver, he just comes out, throws a post route, which is timing, obviously shouldn't have been thrown.
That was Paul Hackett upstairs. It's 3rd and 5 at the 19. White's toss is caught at the 25. Close to a first down. Caught by Renfro, and it was Carter and Young who brought him back, and this is going to be an important measurement. Looks like White is flexing his wrist a bit.
He pointed to the bench, telling him to bring a quarterback. Now you can see he's in the shotgun. Sets up, none, forced outside by Posderick. There's the good follow. There's the follow through, and he catches Greer's left shoulder hip pad.
It is a first down. You're right for the Cowboys, and Steve Pallure now starts to warm up over on the Dallas sideline. Todd Fowler is in for Herschel Walker. 1st and 10 Cowboys on the 25. Dorsett gets hit and hit again, and is stopped for no gain, and it looked like the blocking fell down with Fowler. Baker on the stop.
Danny White's in a lot of pain. He just handed the ball off with his right hand, and he's grabbing it. He's got it free right now with his hand on his left hip, but he needs to come out of there. Evidently, he knows he can't throw the football, but the Cowboys, it doesn't take a quarterback that long to warm up, and Pallure should be in there right now.
2nd down and 10 at the 25. Danny White had led the Cowboys to a 6-2 record before breaking the wrist a year ago. In pain apparently here. Nearly a minute to go in the 3rd quarter. White will throw it to Cosby. Cosby has it. First down to the 46-yard line. Gain of 21. Lonnie Young and Leonard Smith, the safety.
I'm absolutely amazed at White and that the coaching staff elected to throw a pass. But White did it, and threw the ball extremely well. Fakes in there to Dorsett, sets up, finds his man, and throws a perfect strike down the middle. You know, sometimes when you hurt an injury like that, Dick, it's not necessarily that the injury's hurt, but the scar tissue around it is the thing that's giving you the problem.
1st and 10 Cowboys on their own 47-yard line. Dorsett dives forward close to midfield, and that was a deep handoff in the backfield. And Tony brings it out to the 48-yard line, just a yard on the play, and that should be the last play of the 3rd quarter. So Danny White still running the Dallas Cowboys, and that's the end of the 3rd quarter with the score. The Cowboys 6, the Cardinals 3. We now pause for a word from your local station.
He sucker punched us, didn't he?
What?
He sucker punched us.
I don't know why. What do you mean why? Because I said it. Yeah. Why? I don't know why.
White sucker
We're doing
punched
fine. Yeah. Make sure we get. You know what? I think you've got to get a lot. I'm not kidding. You're a lot of things is what happens on a play, and they got to. I guess we should do those. We need replays with Terry here.
All right, there's the follow through. There it goes, and then. All right, here's what happened. The top of his hand hits Greer on his left thigh. Knocked the wrist down. Now he automatically grabs the wrist. You can see him here grabbing in a lot of pain. Now, point made. Scar tissues,
good.
Nerve running through there, nerves, you hit them and they burn, your hand goes crazy. You can see the wrap he has on it.
That's a good shot.
Yeah, that's good. He's coming in, so he's okay. Probably, you know, caught a nerve. Hit it.
Yeah.
Hello. Yep.
I think you're right. Let's do it after the play so you don't have to rush it. Dick Stockton and Terry Bradshaw as we start the fourth quarter here in St. Louis. A low-scoring defensive battle. The Cardinals trailing the Cowboys 6-3. The Cowboys have had the ball nearly 11 minutes more than the Cardinals this afternoon. They've picked up a lot of yards, but no touchdowns. Tony Dorsett, who picked up 7 yards on that last play before the end of the quarter, is stopped shy of a first down, so it'll be 3rd and about 3. Let's go back to the play involving Danny White, where he seemed to aggravate that wrist.
All right, you're going to see the follow-through in the top of his throwing hand will hit the left thigh pad of Greer, the end. See the top of the hand? Jam the fingers down into that joint where the bone was broken. Immediately he grabs it, and there's a lot of pain there. So what you have to say is that he broke his wrist. There's scar tissue. There's nerves running through there. It's very tender. And when you strike those nerves, it burns, it goes crazy, and you think, oh my gosh, but then it eases up. So evidently he's fine now.
3rd and 3 on the Cardinal 46. And open is Walker, and Walker finds open spaces. And gets the first down and picks up huge chunk of yardage inside the 25. Carl Carter makes the tackle and a pickup of 21 yards, and Walker has done a lot of damage after catching the ball this afternoon.
Well, it's a perfect call. Anticipating the blitz, they send White to the right, sprints him out, blitz is on coming from behind him, the same blitz that got him earlier. Walker is all alone, no one there. Down the field, first down.
He may not like being a receiver, but he's caught 6 passes for 88 yards so far today. 1st and 10 Dallas at the Cardinal 25. 6-3. No TDs yet. Speaking, it's Walker. Walker picks up a yard, maybe 2. Charlie Baker and Mark Duda on the stop. Baker has been playing in place of E.J. Jr., who went out with a hamstring pull early. He's an 8-year veteran who was a holdout for about 6 weeks in training camp.
Cost him his job as Anthony Bell came on. Bell gets the starting nod. Baker signs. Now he's a backup. Now EJ's out, so now he's starting back at the weak side linebacker.
Strange how things go sometimes.
Hey, don't ever leave that job. If you leave it, someone there won't sit. And they got it.
2nd down and 6. Ball at the 21 of St. Louis.
Blitz. White's audible. Now look at the Cardinals check out.
And White to Banks. Touchdown, Dallas. 20-yard touchdown pass. It's like the old fade.
You see the blitz once again. Danny White does. Comes up, makes the audible. When he audibles, the Cardinals audible. They go out into a zone. White has the perfect zone pass, a deep corner route to Banks. He's all along. Perfect strike from White, touchdown.
And the first catch of the day for Gordon Banks, who led the Cowboys in receiving in preseason. First touchdown of the game, and it's now 12-3. And Roger Ruzek with Pelluer holding will try to add the 13th point. And he does. So it takes us almost 2 minutes into the final quarter. Banks catches, White throws, and it's 13-3 Cowboys. Yes. Yeah, gotcha. So the order again, come back. Just give me the order. Okay. And you put it, and we'll just be ready to go on with something if you do. Actually, it should have 11 minutes more. Well, this time. I got you. Thanks. Fine, fine. Well, Well, the first touchdown of the game, Danny White to Gordon Banks. And it's 13-3. The Cowboys have maintained possession in the big way in this ball game. Banks with his first NFL career touchdown reception. And the Cardinals have not been able to get the running game going. But let's go back now to Danny White as he got shaken up with a bad wrist, and then he comes back with a score.
Once again, you can see the hand hitting the left thigh pad of Greer. Danny White goes down, he grabs his hand. We automatically think, well, he's re-injured the wrist. Then he put a little sucker punch on us, comes back in, nice little drop back, picks Gordon Banks up into the corner of the end zone after the Cardinals had faked the blitz, and you have a touchdown.
Danny White, 18 of 26, 237 yards and a touchdown pass. So while the media may be on him and other fans, Danny White has been solid today. Roger Ruzek getting set to kick off for the Cowboys. Sikahema and McAdoo are back. It'll be Sikahema a yard in. And clobbered at the 14-yard line.
Jesse Penn.
Crunching hit by Jesse Penn. All right.
Penn was like standing there, and actually Sikahema just ran into him. It was like a surprise for both of them, actually.
Shook up Sikahema. He hasn't gotten up yet. Terry, let's look for the Cardinals now, because they took the lead at 3-0, and we've been talking about Lomax having to go deep. That may be his best bet today, and now they're in the position in the fourth quarter trailing by 10 that they've got to really do it now, not just talking.
They have played so well throughout the preseason with the multiple sets, setting them up. Lomax liked the new scheme that Schaffner had set up and devised for them, but here in the first, they come out in the first series and throw the 40-yard completion, and it looks like, boy, this is going to be a carryover effect. But the Cowboys themselves have also made a lot of changes with various fronts and coverages, totally unlike the Cowboys of old. And so it's been confusing really for both sides, and the Cardinals are getting the lesser of it. They have not been sharp since really middle of the first quarter on. They haven't really been that sharp.
Well, we want to take this opportunity to remind you that coming up next here on CBS Sports, weather permitting, the U.S. Open men's tennis final between Ivan Lendl, who looked so impressive in his straight set victory over Jimmy Connors yesterday, top ranked, looking for his third straight Open championship against Mats Wilander, who beat fellow countryman Stefan Edberg yesterday. Weather permitting, from the National Tennis Center in Flushing, New York, coming up next right here on CBS Sports. Pro bowler Sikahema has had a tough day today. One of those foreign players, Tonga. First and 10 at the 14-yard line for the Cardinals, trailing by 10. Plenty of time. Lomax spins around and hits J.T. Smith, who's upended by the rookie Ron Francis. Brings it out to the 27. Quickly for an NFL Today update, here's Brent in New York. Wild game at RFK Stadium right here. First and 10 Cardinals on the 28. And a hole for Stump Mitchell. Mitchell was stopped at the 30-yard line. It closed in a hurry. The Cardinals have not been able to get the running game going at all today. That time, Eugene Lockhart made the tackle.
Well, the thing that we've talked about is the multiple fronts, and they're very confusing because on each running play, there are a lot of different calls that have to be made. And when you continuously change the fronts, you confuse the blocking. When there's indecision, you don't make any yardage.
By the way, the word on Sikahema is that he had the wind knocked out, and he will return. Under 12 minutes to go, fourth quarter, second and 8. Lomax has the Cardinals on their 30. Mitchell hit hard. Mark Whalen on injured reserve last year out of UCLA, and he was right there to smack down the stumper.
And one of the things the Cardinals had wanted to accomplish in this game, talking to him when we were sitting there shooting the breeze with them. They said, well, we want to come out and do a lot of play action, a lot of throwing on first down, and quite honestly, we haven't seen it.
They were going to do the same kind of motion stuff that the Cowboys have used today. At least that was the plan. 3rd down and 7 out of the shotgun. Lomax, incomplete. It was intended for Smith, and Manny Hendricks was right there. And the Cowboys had a game going inside on the line as they looped Ed Jones inside. And a face mask call.
Face mask on the offense. Tackle.
That'll set him back a few. Joe Bostic.
You can see left guard is going to be Bostic right here. He's going to get in the face mask and then pull him all the way back. And the ref's going to see it up inside there. Goes by him, turns around left hand, and then grabs number 95, Mark Whalen. Grabs him by the face mask. Not only you get a penalty, but let Whalen get through and make the sack. So, you know, if you're going to get a penalty, hey, go ahead, take the guy down.
Robert Levette goes back for the Cowboys, and Cater booting.
Another nice kick.
Goal catch called for by Levette as he's dropped at the 21-yard line. 48-yard kick, but the Cowboys, who have been controlling the ball well, have the ball, the lead in the 4th quarter. Ball control here. The Cowboys are going to try and
let's get
hold
the Cowboys front line, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do pit framing on the Cowboys.
Deepest penetration since the
defense is playing well.
Yeah. All right. Yes, we have.
Okay.
Yes, we have.
The switch.
The Dallas Cowboys defense basking in the sunlight and well-deserved the way they play today. The offense will try to hold the fort and add some points. 1st and 10 for Dallas on their 21-yard line, leading 13-3, 10:54 on the clock, 4th quarter. Herschel Walker getting a chance to run today, cuts upfield and gets close to the 25-yard line. The Cowboys, Terry, have been able to use both Dorsett and Walker. And
I want you to notice the straight out, straight out, straight out, straight out, straight out, straight out, all the way across, and then drive them down the line of scrimmage. This is that Eckenberg new way of blocking. Notice the firing out underneath and then driving, and then allowing the back, Dorsett, Walker, to stop, see penetration, cut back, and try to get some yardage.
Walker and Dorsett have each gained 52 yards today. Now it's Herschel Walker again. Walker bulls his way close to the 30-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and about 2. Cedric Mack and Nico Noga. Noga especially in on the play. So the Cowboys have been able, I guess, to keep both Dorsett and Walker happy as ball carriers today so far.
So far.
Jeff Rohr.
Rohr.
Is he roaring?
He's roaring. He's smiling. That's an interesting haircut. It's a full head. It's a total haircut, but then you don't cut the little bitty part in the back. You let it hang out over your shirt and down the back.
That's what he's doing. Walker again will have the 1st down before he's ganged up on. Herschel Walker gets the 1st down for the Cowboys with less than 9.5 in the 4th quarter.
Not being a running back, I was curious as to Walker's answer to a question when I sat in there with him last night with you and said, I would be more concerned for you in taking the licks and missing all the preseason. And he said that taking the hits was the easy part. He never worried about that. He was just mainly concerned about his legs and the soreness.
And the timing, he didn't have a chance to work out in one spot. They had him all over the place, so he couldn't get timing down. He looks pretty good today. 1st and 10 Cowboys on their 34-yard line. Danny White tries to go to Barksdale, and it's tipped away. And coming downfield, Anthony Bell really showed some speed getting into the secondary.
Danny White is a precision passer, a timing passer, And had his wrist not been injured earlier and had he not broken it, he would have been able to throw that football a little harder because that's exactly what he needed then. But he tried to anticipate the ball, slipped out of his hands, and went sailing over the receiver's head.
The attendance today at Busch Stadium, 47,241. As we said at the outset, the first time in 23 years, the Cowboys have not sold out here in St. Louis. Second down and 6. Here they come. Young coming on in the pass intended for Banks. Claims he was held up at the line, that it was Lonnie Young who was coming in from free safety on that play. Third down and 10 with 8:45 on the clock. Cowboys 13-3. Only touchdown of the game here in the fourth quarter when White hit Banks 20 yards out for a score. Low snap. White is down at the 30. Colin Scott's in on the tackle, and White did all he could and gets up upset, yelling at one of the Cardinals.
Well, Scott, after he made the sack on White, gave him a little kangaroo jab with his left leg right upside the head. That's what Danny, if Danny had a good right wrist, I guarantee you he'd have kangaroo popped him right in the jaw. I would have.
But you know, when a kangaroo doesn't have a good wrist, he can't do that.
That's right. You got to have the wrist. It's all in the wrist.
Sikahema is back. Mike Saxon will kick.
Stuff him in your pouch.
Hop away.
Hop away. Kangaroo hop. Have you ever heard of that?
We needed an Australian in the NFL for that to happen.
I guess.
Fine kick by Saxon. Sikahema back inside the 20. Doesn't get away. Ron Francis, the rookie from Baylor, who won a starting spot. Good special teams tackle following a 53-yard kick. Cowboys defense here, boys.
David, I want isolation on Ron Francis, the right corner, 38. Okay? And you tell your little Casper, the friendly ghost.
And then you
all right,
do this. I'll do this.
You do this. All right?
Well, we'll both do it.
Well,
we both do it.
You know the silent.
You do it. Yeah.
I don't know that. You know that. The silent.
Okay, but do something about him.
Yeah, I'll start
just
it.
Make an observation about it.
I will. Absolutely.
Said he was short. Said he just doesn't look at the receiver,
Yeah.
but he knows he's there. Okay. You're going to do Francis after the first play, right? Going to try to do that? Okay. Roger. Okay. Marty, you gotta get down. Yeah. Terry, the Cardinals have been in Cowboy territory only once since the opening series of the game.
Well, they haven't done anything with the football. They haven't been able to throw it. They haven't been able to run it. And the Cowboy defense continued their good play from preseason and played extremely well here in this game.
Stump Mitchell trying to turn the corner. Brings it out to the 27. Michael Downs on the tackle. And when the Cardinals did get into Dallas territory, that was to the 49-yard line. So they started out like a house of fire. First play, Lomax hit Green 44 yards. The Cardinals had to settle for a field goal on their first series, and they looked like they were off and running. But that's all they've mustered, is the Cowboy defense has been sensational today.
Well, they need to get something going. 8 minutes remaining in the football game. They need to get some touchdowns on this board.
They need 2 scores in any event. 2nd and 3 at the 26, and on the draw play, it's Farrell. Farrell busts a couple, has a first down. Earl Farrell. 21 yards for Farrell. Finally wrestled down by Bill Bates close to midfield.
Farrell will be running off the left tackle. As you can see, counter action. Good job inside by both the tackle. You see him cut inside, cuts outside, Sharp and Bostic blow their men inside. Farrell counteraction, which froze the linebackers, allowed them to inside position block, and boom, away he went.
First and 10 Cardinals on their own 47. 7 minutes and 15 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. Cowboys lead 13-3. And the pitch, Mitchell gets into Cowboy territory and is knocked out of bounds at the 46-yard line. Picked up 7 yards there. Vince Albritton and Mike Hegman combined to make the play.
I guess you could say right now that Tom Bresnahan, the offensive line coach for the Cardinals, is not happy with his first unit, so he's inserted into the lineup Todd Pete, 64 at guard, and then he brought in Gene Tilton, who's also 74, playing a tackle, so they've moved some new people in there.
Pete did a good job against the refrigerator in preseason. He's a 300-pounder. Second down and 3 at the 46-yard line of the Cowboys. Flores stepping up, and Farrell dives for the first down to the 39. Lockhart on the tackle, and this is the crispest we have seen the Cardinal offense since that opening drive.
They're doing a fine job, just straight ahead blocking then. Straight up the middle, they brought in Kennard, now number 70, the center. As you can see, the Cowboys, if they take a tackle, and an end wide, and take a linebacker, they've got 3 linemen to the strong side, hand deep, and then Farrell cutting back inside. Good blocking. Boy, Kennard, 70, another fresh face in there, starting center now in place of Russo, 51.
First and 10 at the 39 of Dallas. Cardinals moving. Blitz. Lomax in trouble and down. Back to the 47. It was Bill Bates and Randy White. Bill Bates, who led the defensive backs in quarterback sacks last year, came storming in on Lomax, and that is the 3rd sack of the game by the Dallas defense.
Well, Bates coming up the middle. Also, you're going to see Lockhart, 56, middle linebacker. He's coming up the middle, all-out blitz. See Bates coming to the right side. Now Mitchell, 30, is responsible for taking the defensive back. Bates, he did, and he pulled outside. Bates got the sack.
Loss on the play of 8 yards. It'll be second down and 18. Back to the 47-yard line. Still no turnovers in this game. And only 1 touchdown's been scored. Lomax slipped, hits Roy Green. And Green is stopped on a fine open field tackle by Michael Downs. Otherwise, Green would have picked up a lot more. Gain of 9.
You're going to see Green. Green will come up, go up the field, lean outside, and cut back inside against Francis, 38. As you see Ron Francis come over to cover Green. There's the pick by Novacek, 85. Green cuts underneath him, makes the catch.
Downs, the brains of the secondary, with a big play. So it's 3rd down and 9 at the 38-yard line. Yellow flags all over the place.
Gene Chilton, once again, right tackle for the Cardinals. Big jumps offside.
Not surprising, Terry. You've been telling us about all the different faces in for the Cardinals.
Number 61.
This one was on Lance Smith, but nevertheless,
and 3rd down.
you know how important it is for offensive linemen to play together and work together.
Well, with Chilton, Kennard, and Pete in the football game, Chilton's the one that's played the most.
That's true.
Now, right tackle, then it's kind of a change. It's kind of a domino effect. Right tackle, right guard, just right on down the line of scrimmage.
There's the time. 4th quarter, 3rd down and 15. Cardinals are moving the ball, and then they fizzle. Lomax goes up on top for Smith. And Smith can't hold on to it. He had it. Bill Bates defending, and Lomax was hit hard and is shaken up. Back at the 40, Lomax took quite a hit. The Cardinal backup quarterback is Cliff Stout, former teammate of Terry's. And hope Lomax is all right. There's Cliff.
Let's see what happens. Lomax appears to be all right. shotgun, trying to work the ball deep. Now, when you hold the ball long and try to throw deep routes, you put a lot of pressure on your line. Sitting in there throwing the football, then Brooks, 99, comes in, puts his helmet right in his stomach, and drives him to the ground. Classic case there of, hey, where'd my air go?
4th down, and Cater will boot it away, and Banks is back for the Cowboys. And Banks chases it and gets a shove, and it's out of bounds. Derek McAdoo, there's Lomax on the sideline. So the Cardinals got to the Cowboys' 38-yard line, and that's been their deepest penetration since their three-pointer in their opening possession. But now the clock begins to work in Dallas's favor with 4:44 to go, a 10-point lead. And the Cowboys starting out from their 11.
You can see Lomax in pain. Now, quarterbacks in the 80s wear what's called a rib cage, and that thing sits right below the sternum, right around the ribs. As you can see, that thing hanging down there, and it helps a lot. It keeps the broken ribs, but you can see as they punch in the middle there, he's telling them this is where Brooks had his helmet.
1st and 10 Dallas. Dorsett looking for room. Gets a couple.
Now the Cowboys are backed up on the 10-yard line. The Cardinals are losing the football game. Now you get into the mind of the defense. What do? Well, you want to keep them backed up. And I think you need to take a chance here, Dick, just trying to be a coach. And you go after them and try to penetrate, maybe blitz them all out, blitz with both safeties and corners, and try to really nail them deep and get the ball back inside the Cowboy territory.
2nd down and 8. Let's see if the Cardinals are listening. White on play action. Goes to Herschel Walker. Cedric Mack is there, and it's knocked away. And I think Walker was as intent in keeping the ball out of Mack's hands as Mack was with Herschel.
Well, Herschel had Mack beaten down the sideline, and it was a poorly thrown ball. What can I say? Ball kind of had a little wobble on it. And you got to admire Danny White for number one, attempting to throw a pass this deep down the sideline, especially with the wrist in the shape that it's in. But Walker did have his man beat that time.
White's last 3 passes have fallen incomplete, so it's 3rd down and 8 at the 13-yard line. 3:57 remaining in the ball game. Been no timeouts used in the second half. Cardinals trying to get to White. White is going deep and just overthrows Todd Fowler. It'll be 4th down, and so the Cardinals will have an opportunity, all things being equal, of getting decent field position. And Lomax apparently is all right. Getting set to go back to work. Saxon will kick from the end zone and by Sikahema. Hasn't yet broken one today. Back at the 40. Peel back and try to set up the wedge for Sikahema at the 39-yard line. Sikahema is slowed up and stopped, but he gets very close to midfield. A 48-yard kick by Saxon, and Lomax, who was shaken up before, goes out again. Ron Burton on the stop. There's the time, and there's the story of this game, and the Cardinals, realistically, with a Cowboy down, shaken up, have to get something out of this possession. That's Garth Jacks on the turf.
Well, you got to, as you look at Garth Jacks now, we've got to get into the mind of Lomax and figure out what he's thinking, Dick. He's got to get down. It's 3:42 remaining in the football game, and here's a guy that for the last 2 years, much maligned in the city of St. Louis after his great 84 and 85 All-Pro season. 4,600 yards and 28 TD passes, and now after last year and had made the draft, the trade for number one, tried to trade him and everything, brought Cliff in, and Cliff's going to challenge, and he gets a back sprain in preseason, and now Lomax is the man, has a fantastic preseason, and now he's got to be thinking to himself, is this going to happen again to me? Because there's nothing good really happened in this ball game since the second half.
The running game was almost non-existent. The Cardinals had 50 yards rushing prior to the last drive, and they had over 40 yards, 42 to be exact then, but they can't be content with a running game at 342. They've got to put it in the air. They need 2 scores. First and 10 at midfield. Lomax with a medium range pass caught by Novacek. And a first down inside the 35, and a very difficult catch by Jay Novacek. Lockhart and Bates on the stop.
Well, they like Novacek. They think has great hands, as he showed there. But the thing I was impressed with is when Albritton hit him after he barely made the catch, he knocked Albritton down.
17-yard gain by Novacek. First and 10 now at the Dallas 33. Winding down to 3 minutes to go.
Blitz.
Penalty marker down. And Smith, the intended receiver, flags down all over. Let's see if that offensive line had moved an illegal procedure call.
Illegal motion, number 85 on the offense.
It was the tight end Novacek. So it'll be first and 15 for the Cardinals. Gene Stallings, who said a year ago they didn't know me and I didn't know them, and things have been much smoother this time around. He has a system of giving a test, I guess, the day before a game to his team.
Then what we asked him what happens if they fail it.
They don't dress on Monday or something like that. You know they're dressed today. First and 15 on the Dallas 38. Farrell gets an opening and is tripped up. Eugene Lockhart prevented a bigger gain by Farrell, and the crowd not pleased by that play selection as the clock continues to run. 2:35 remaining. Cardinals have 3 timeouts remaining. Second down and 10. Lomax under some pressure. Up the middle. Threads the needle to Novacek again. And a first down to the 16-yard line. Bates on the stop.
Cardinals trying to get into a 2-minute offense, hurry-up offense. Lomax will set the team, call the play at the line of scrimmage. Play will go on the first sound.
And they'll get an extra play in. The next stoppage will be the 2-minute warning. There's a pass to the corner to Green. Touchdown! What a catch! A sensational catch by Roy Green with Ron Francis in his face. Good for 16 yards and a big score. The Cards wanted to get it off before the 2-minute warning.
That's a good job by Lomax. Quick first sound, quick set, 4 steps, turns and fires the football for the corner. As you can see, Francis has his men well covered, but a rookie mistake. He had no idea where the ball was or where it was coming from. Now look at Lomax. Yeah, all right, that's what we want right there.
In the Cardinals' defense, Lomax did not have Roy Green last year, and he's been a favorite receiver of his for several years.
You know, if you look at that again, you realize what Francis said to us when he said, I react. I don't watch, I react after the football is thrown. I never look at a receiver. In that case, he was looking at the receiver and not the ball. Had he been looking at the ball, he would have been able to knock it down.
Green caught 42 passes, this despite missing 5 games with ankle surgery and Achilles tendon problem, but he's off to a good start in what he hopes will be a comeback year. He has caught 3 passes for 68 yards, but this 16-yard catch has brought the Cardinals to within 4, pending the conversion. We're in the midst of our 2-minute warning right now with 1:58 on the clock, and the Cardinals scored in the possession they had to score in. 50 yards on 4 plays. (13-9), and when we resume from the 2-minute warning, Cardinals will have a chance to cut it to 13-10.
Well, the thing that you realize about Green and the Cowboys, he's always destroyed them. He's had this now makes 8 touchdown passes that or 8 touchdown catches that he's had against the Cowboys since he was a starter in '81. Always has been a problem for the Cowboys to cover him.
Well, he returned the kickoff against Dallas 106 yards for a touchdown, which is an NFL record. So Roy Green apparently likes to play against the Cowboys, and Right now, it's up to St. Louis's defense.
Well, the thing that matches so well is that the Cowboys playing so much man coverage. Green, being a former defensive back, understands coverage and man for man with that great speed. It's only natural that he catch a lot of passes.
Gallery will try to add the 10th point with Cliff Stout holding. And the kick is good. 1:58 remaining in the fourth quarter. The Cowboys' lead has been sliced to 3, 13-10. How about timeouts remaining for both sides, especially St. Louis? Turnovers 0-0. Who's that? Bebeto or Black? Yeah. Yeah. Well, after no touchdowns for the first 3 quarters of the game, each team has scored 1 touchdown here in the final quarter. But the Cowboys still lead 13-10, and Danny White getting set to go to work. Each team has 3 timeouts remaining. And, of course, the Cardinals' defense, there is Green who caught the score, will now have the task of trying to get the ball back. Landry's been on the phone a lot today, Terry.
Well, he's had to do a lot. He's coaching the defense, he's coaching the offense, so he's a busy man.
Gallery's kick, flat. Not much to do there. Well, it looks like Gallery's going to be around a while, don't you think?
Well, Gene Stallings said, he said, you know, do you like this guy? He says, well, you know, I like him. He's better than what I've had, you know. And the thing they wanted here in St. Louis, they wanted a guy to kick the ball into the end zone, a guy down there to give their team a chance to get down there and keep them inside the 20, and Lee just simply couldn't do it. Every time their defense looked up, they were on the 30 or 35-yard line.
There's a scoring drive, and now the Cowboys have a 1st and 10 at the 20. White's last 4 passes have been incomplete. Fowler, the up back for Dorsett. Here's Tony with Fowler setting the block. Dorsett drives it out to the 22-yard line, where Anthony Bell leans on Tony as he gets up a bit.
Cardinals called timeout.
They've got 2 left. They want the ball back. It'll be 2nd and 7 at the 23 when we get back. And the Cowboys are looking to use up the clock, and the Cardinals trying to stop it any way they can. Next week on CBS, it'll be a doubleheader weekend in NFL football in week number 2. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, with a rousing first game victory over Atlanta today, will go against the...
No one expected the Tampa Bay to do what they've done today. No one expected DeBerg to be the starting quarterback, but he is the starting quarterback. 5 TDs, Bears. They don't have McMahon, but they certainly have the Bear defense.
What's interesting is they've got a big one against the Giants tomorrow night, and you wonder what their mental attitude will be going up against Tampa Bay coming off a Giant game.
Well, if I were the Bears, I wouldn't think a whole lot about it. They better worry about the Giants.
Tuesday they'll worry. 2nd and 7 at the 23, and here's Dorsett. He's down. Lonnie Young on the tackle. It'll be 3rd down, and now the Cardinals have called another timeout. They have 1 timeout remaining. St. Louis has controlled this game yardage-wise in the 4th quarter, and both teams have gathered the yardage, but there haven't been many points.
Well, 3rd quarter, you can see Cowboys 79, St. Louis just 31, but then the 4th quarter, 117 to 63 yards, tells you right there that the Cardinals have gotten better, the Cowboys have gotten worse.
And speaking of college football, next Saturday at 2:30 Eastern, it'll be Georgia against Clemson. They'll battle it up in Death Valley. Both teams victorious yesterday. Vince Dooley takes his Georgia Bulldogs. That's where Herschel Walker played, and Danny Ford leads Clemson.
That's it.
Clemson.
Just a little bit of a twang. I believe you could make it, but it's Clemson. Clemson.
You know how long
You
it's
New
gonna
Yorkers, you've got to learn how to say this. You know, you've done it all year long. You read it off these little monitors, but it's got a P in it, and I expect you to put it in there from now on, all right?
If nothing else, by the end of the season, Terry, I'll be able to do that
All
right.
right, Clemson. Clemson.
Clemson. 3rd and 4, and the crowd is aroused.
Zone.
Big play here. Pass to Walker. He's got the first down.
Short.
No.
Short. His left foot is right short of the flag stick.
They may have a measurement in any event.
I'm
Carl
talking-
Carter was there, and where they spotted the ball, you may be right. It may be short. They're going to mark it.
Now, when they move the chain all the way across the field, you have to understand these lines are painted, and I mean, not everything's perfect, but he marked the ball about 2 or 3 inches short of the stick, which when you go all the way across the field, it might be a foot beyond it. Who knows? Interesting decision now. Say it's short. Just guessing ahead of time, Dick. Do you go for it?
No, I wouldn't. What would you do?
Short. 4th down.
Short by an inch or 2.
There's a minute 40 left. Cardinals with 2 timeouts left. 1 timeout.
The thing is that if you go for it and fail, you can lose the game outright. If you kick the ball away, you may just hold them to a field goal and go into overtime.
That's good.
Can I
That's
coach
good.
this or what?
Excellent.
Saxon will go back and kick with 1:40 remaining. By Sikahema. Too many men on the field, and Gene Stallings wanted to make sure that the Cardinals wouldn't be caught. Of course, they're going to bring the marker out to midfield, or at least where the ball was, close to the 30-yard line. Are you surprised that Walker, who was so close to first down yardage, just couldn't get that extra inch?
Well, when he caught the pass, his momentum, it's like walking that line. You eventually have got to fall over the line. And when Herschel Walker took in the little pass in the flat, he was hit, knocked him off his feet, and he just could not stay in bounds. And he was trying. He saw the stick, but he just couldn't stay in bounds.
So here's Saxon.
Game of inches, right?
Exactly. 1:40 on the clock. Cardinals have 1 timeout remaining.
Bad kick.
Sikahema at the 29. And the Cowboys converge, and Sikahema is down at the 38. Bill Bates. Neil Lomax surging on the crowd.
Decision time. Cowboys, do you play tight? Do you get on their receivers and play it tight and allow Green to get behind you? Or do you play soft in your zones and allow Smith to work underneath you?
Cowboys will start out in their 4-0 defense. 1st and 10 Cardinals on their 39. They need a field goal to tie this game up. Lomax. And it's caught by Smith. Fumble, and Smith recovers. But it's good enough for Dallas territory, and a first down for St. Louis. Bill Bates on the stop, a pickup of 15.
More importantly, the ball went out of bounds and the clock stops. That's the key. You don't have to waste a timeout. You don't have to force the ball at the line of scrimmage and force a play. Take your time. Now you call 2 plays. They're both on first sound. Get up, snap it off, move it again. There's the pass outside. Doggone fine throw that time. Smith, the possession receiver, smart play. You see him? Left hand, knocked it out of bounds.
Andy Hendricks almost knocked that ball away. 1st and 10 at the Cowboy 46. Lomax up top, and Novacek went high but couldn't control it. Ron Francis defending.
The matchup they really wanted. Novacek 6'4", going against Francis, only 5'7". The ball was thrown high but too high. Right in the center of your screen, folks, as you see Novacek wide open. There's the pass thrown too high. Francis trailing. Now you can see Lomax. He knows he has his man. Oh, I can't believe I missed it.
1:19 on the clock, 2nd and 10. Lomax dumps it off to Stump Mitchell. Mitchell gets by Rora and moves to the 40-yard line. 1:10 to go. Michael Downs on the stop. And a penalty flag is down, and that'll stop things with 1:10 showing. And it'll be a holding call against the Cardinals. And that is a crippling penalty against St. Louis at this point.
Offensive holding, number 64. The 2nd down will be replayed.
Todd Pete, the 11th round draft pick from Northern Illinois. And the Cardinals have gone with some inexperienced offensive linemen in reserve today.
Yes, but in the second half, Pete and Children and Kennard, 3 brand new offensive linemen, have played outstanding football. And the Cardinals have had their best offensive movement with those 3 youngsters in there.
Meanwhile, Cardinals are back in their own territory at the 45. 2nd down and 15. Lomax gets Mitchell. Mitchell to the 30-yard line. Out of bounds. It took the Cardinals 8 seconds to go 25 yards on this play.
Mitchell coming to the top right of your screen, goes down, comes inside. As you can see, the blitz by Albritton, 36, catching the linebacker pin, man on Mitchell. He beats him. Now it's a foot race, gets the 1st down. More importantly, though, out of bounds.
1:02 on the clock. 1st and 10 Cardinals on the Cowboys 31. Knocking on the door in field goal range, but St. Louis also thinking touchdown perhaps to try to pull this game out. Lomax has had a remarkable final quarter here.
That 7 for 10, 113 yards and a touchdown. Now Lomax as a quarterback has to say to his players, look, give me time to throw. No sacks. Number 2, to himself, don't force the football. If there's a question, throw it out of bounds, kill the clock. No fumbles. And let's move the ball down. If nothing else, get in position to tie the game up with a field goal.
The Cowboys have won 14 of the last 17 against the Cardinals. The ball at the 31-yard line. Lomax incomplete. And the penalty flag is down. Novacek might have been interfered with by Francis.
Pass interference, number 38, 1st down and 10.
This is Dick Stockton and Terry Bradshaw and Bedlam here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. The Cardinals were trailing 13-3 and scored with less than 2 minutes to play. And now the Cardinals are threatening to tie or win with 58 seconds to go. St. Louis, as a result of a pass interference call, has 1st and 10 on the Cowboy 22.
The thing that the Cardinals have spotted is that Francis, 38, is guarding Novacek man for man, and that's the guy Lomax is going to.
Novacek 6'5", Francis 5'9". Lomax going for Green. Touchdown! The 2nd touchdown this quarter from Lomax to Green, and the Cardinals lead at 16-13. Jim Gallery will attempt the conversion with Cliff Stout holding. A 22-yard scoring play, and the man that Roy Green beat was Everson Wall.
You're going to see the ideal matchup. Walls on Green, a classic matchup. One of the best defensive backs in the league. Look at this, playing off of him, unusual. Green, a straight drop, straight sprint, and simply outruns Walls to the corner. Perfectly thrown pass. I can understand this if Walls was playing him tight, but playing him that far off and getting beat, you just never see it. Now, look at Lomax. Yes, yes.
Well, he was almost traded to the Raiders. He might have been sent to San Diego. Everyone was down on Neil Lomax, but he has come back in a big way, and the Cardinals have scored 14 points in 1 minute and 2 seconds to take a 17-13 lead.
You know, you can get to this level of play in the National Football League, and it never seems to fail that if you can bring these men to have just a touch of emotion, just a little bit of emotion, even if you're making $1 million a year. But that little bit of boy emotion is sometimes the key that gets you over the top and helps you to win.
Roy Green, 4 catches and 90 yards and 2 scores. Jim Gallery will kick off for the Cardinals. Darryl Clack and Robert Levesque, and he booms it again. This Cardinal franchise needs this, Terry, and the crowd has responded in a big way. And now the Cowboys will take over on the 20, and a field goal won't do them any good. They need a touchdown.
An insult to the Cardinal players when their opening game wasn't a sellout against their arch rival, the Cowboys. Now you've got an interesting matchup. The #1 NFC defensive pass team last year going against the Cowboys, a potent offensive machine.
The Cowboys have all 3 of their timeouts remaining. 53 seconds to go in the 4th quarter. And a low snap. White recovers and is dragged down. Curtis Greer. Six sacks today by the St. Louis Cardinals defense. And a loss of 7 right here.
Greer in the bottom right, 75 on Tuanay. Takes him up, goes inside. White steps up, but look at the crawling that Greer does. Crawls on his hands and knees to make the sack.
2nd and 18. White. Hit. Fumble. Cardinals recover. They're going wild here in St. Louis. Curtis Greer made the hit, and Freddie Joe Nunn picked up the loose ball. Our first turnover of the ball game. And a big one.
White from the shotgun, Greer in the right, going around Tuanay against. Tuanay doing the proper job of forcing him up the field. Danny steps up inside, plants his feet, and then Greer comes around, knocks him, hits him on his shoulder, and forces the fumble.
The 3rd sack of the game by Curtis Greer, who's had knee surgery twice in the last 20 months, and no one thought he'd ever come back and play this game. But he's had a big effort today.
They traded away Baker, who led the team last year with 10 and a half sacks, hoping that this guy could come in and give them the lift they needed. Boy, has he done that today.
So 7 times the Cardinals have gotten to Danny White today. 33 seconds remaining, and now Tom Landry is off the phone. Cowboys have 3 timeouts remaining, and they're going to use them. But they need a mistake by the Cardinals to have a shot. What a change of fortune in this game after the Cardinals took a 3-0 lead on a field goal by Jim Gallery on their first possession. The Cowboys controlled the ball, ran the ball well, and took a 13-3 lead before the Cardinals struck late in the game Lomax to Roy Green twice.
That has to be a big lift for this guy. Stallings, new team, franchise that wants to climb up, everybody expecting great things. Come back and play against the Cowboys, his team that he coached in the secondary for so many years. It has to be a big, even though the Cowboys are down, and many people in the circles, the Cowboys are down, to beat the Cowboys by any team that beats them feels like it's a big victory.
Means something. Tonight on CBS starts with 60 Minutes. Then it's Murder, She Wrote, starring Angela Lansbury, followed by the CBS Sunday movie Nobody's Child, starring Marlo Thomas in an Emmy Award-winning performance. That's tonight on CBS. And I'm sure, Terry, that for Gene Stallings, who was an assistant to Tom Landry 14 years, it's an extra sweet victory, especially on an opening Sunday when the Cowboys have ruled dominant so many years. Second down and 12, and Dallas still has 2 timeouts. They use one of them here. Well, they did not sell out here at Busch Stadium for the first time since 1964 for a Cowboy game, and word's got to get around that this Cardinal team is a heck of a lot better than a year ago, apparently.
Well, Stallings said we're going to be better simply from the fact that we're together for a second year. He's got a lot of young players. This game, it looks like they're going to win. They go to San Diego next week. They win that game. They come back and play Indianapolis. They play the Colts here. I expect to see this place sold out.
A number of people left with a few minutes to go. They didn't have the same heart that the Cardinal players show today, as we want to thank those who helped bring you this broadcast.
It's always surprising. It's an old cliche, but isn't it amazing how we used to live by the motto in Pittsburgh that the fourth quarter is for champions, and you win in the fourth quarter. And for 3 quarters, this Cardinal team played poorly. The Cowboys, I thought, played extremely well, especially White and Walker, and the defense was outstanding. And then all of a sudden, bang!
27 seconds to go, and Dallas still has 1 timeout to use, and that'll be it. And they're going to use it right here. Terry, and I'd have to say that the Dallas Cowboys' offensive woes have to continue, because they did control the ball, they did move the ball, but they couldn't get the touchdown when they needed it. And with all the yards they picked up, to come away with 13 points probably isn't to Tom Landry's liking.
Offenses historically take a longer time to develop than a defense. The Cowboys, Tom Landry, wanted to get his defense back. That's why he spent all the time in training camp. He's done that. The defense, I think, has responded well and would only get better. He even said himself, Landry, that the slowest we've ever come into a regular season. This is the worst our offense, the worst we've been ready to go. It's going to take time. As the season progresses, we will get better. Today, I think they felt like they had a victory.
Danny White played well, and Herschel Walker and Tony Dorsett each carried the ball effectively. And I guess if you have to pinpoint one area where the Cowboys still have the problems, it's what you pointed out at the outset. The wide receiver spot. Tony Hill gone and Mike Sherrard out for the season. They've got a bit of a hole in that position.
It's still an awfully, I mean, it's a tremendous offense, as is the Cardinal offense. Big plays with Green and Smith and Lomax. 3 key people.
This may be the last play of the ball game. And they give it to Farrell, who scores. Terry, that's unusual. You always want to score, but what did you think about that play when I think the Cowboys expected them to kneel down and run out the clock?
With 4th down, the clock is going to continue running at the exchange. So what they really were trying to do is just bang it up in there and eat 5 or 6 seconds and take longer. It caught the Cowboys by surprise. And to say this, very simply put, the Cowboys did not expect it. They were expecting them to lay down. They got caught. A hard lesson learned right there.
Gallery will attempt the conversion with 19 seconds to play. And the kick is good. And the Cardinals lead at 24-13 with an explosive finish. 3 touchdowns in the last 2 minutes of the game. Actually, 21 points in 1:36. And the Cardinals will have beaten the Dallas Cowboys in this opening game. On the face of it, you would call an upset, but going in, most people thought that this would be a closely contested game.
Well, coming off of preseason, the Cowboys have not played well offensively, especially scoring, only scoring 36 points. The Cardinals have played extremely well defensively, well offensively well. Lomax was back, so everyone had a feeling that the Cardinals were going to upset the Cowboys today, and the Cowboys, of course, said, what the heck? So we only won one preseason game last year. We lost all 5 of them, and we started out 6-2.
The Cardinal bench waving towels to get the crowd going. What a tremendous first game to a comeback season for Roy Green.
Well, I said earlier, emotion plays such a major part, and it's sometimes overplayed or downplayed or whatever, but a young team like this wanting to win, this means everything to them.
Gallery's kick goes in the end zone, and so the Cardinals, who have had trouble finding a reliable kicker who could make good on placements and kick the ball into the end zone on kickoffs, apparently have found their man in Jim Gallery. 19 seconds remaining in this one, but coming up, the NFL Today post-game show will feature Brent Musburger with scores and highlights of this, the first Sunday of the 68th NFL campaign. Some surprises around the league. Steve DeBerg with 5 touchdown passes, leading Tampa Bay. Cowboys are out of timeout. They're going to send everyone out. Danny White. And that should do it. Clock stops with 13 seconds. 8th sack of the game by the Cardinals. This time it was rookie Rod Sadler. Last year, the Cardinals scored average less than a touchdown a game in the final quarter. They got 21 big ones in less than 2 minutes today. Dorsett with time running out. And that'll do it. Cardinals win the opener, 24-13. Tom Landry, disappointment, and a couple of the players threw some punches near midfield, and they're still going. Vince Albritton in there for Dallas. Gene Stallings helps break it up. And Stallings, a good friend of Tom Landry.
In the last 2 minutes, they end up winning the game, knocking off the Cowboys. For the Cardinals, it's their first home opening victory since 1975. Let's go to the Bush Memorial Stadium in St. Louis. Fourth quarter, Neil Lomax and the Cardinals are trailing 13-3. Just a little over 2 minutes to go. Lomax to Roy Green. Touchdown, beating Ron Francis, 13-10. The Cardinals fans, who never say die, are holding on with 1 minute to go. Neil Lomax says, Roy Green, you won for me going to the left. Let's go to the right. This time, Roy Green to the right. He's got to beat Everson Walls. He does it. 17-13. The Cardinals 2 touchdowns in 60 seconds. Neil Lomax, the newfound hero in Busch Stadium. Now, Dallas will have one last chance with the football. Danny White's got to come up with something big. Danny White's also got to run for his life. Curtis Greer from behind. 8 sacks by the Cardinals. The Cardinals, with 3 touchdowns in the last 2 minutes, knock off the Cowboys 24-13.